they talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
It's all respect over here, and if, he do decide to come my way and me and him get in the ring, then it'll be an electrifying fight,
Terence Crawford is gearing up for his showdown with Canelo Alvarez and has just delivered a quiet yet powerful warning to his opponent. Although he's not scheduled for any fights until September, the boxing champion has already begun training with an intensity that signals he's fully prepared for the challenge ahead. Many boxing experts have pointed to Crawford's weight class as his primary disadvantage heading into the fight. However, the reigning super welterweight champion has just made a shocking revelation that could send waves through Canelo's camp. Crawford has made it clear that his weight is not as small as many believe. Known for his precision and technical mastery, Terence Crawford has surprised the boxing world by revealing a significantly higher weight than anticipated ahead of his highly anticipated showdown with Canelo Alvarez.
It won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently, and it'll be a well-fought.
The undisputed champion in 2 divisions recently took to social media to reveal that he currently weighs 186 pounds, sparking widespread discussion among boxing fans. Crawford, who is set to face Canelo Alvarez in September at the super middleweight limit of 168 pounds, has shown remarkable versatility throughout his career, claiming world titles at lightweight, super lightweight, and welterweight. However, moving up 2 weight classes to challenge a powerhouse like Canelo represents an unprecedented challenge in his career. Crawford's disclosure of his current weight has sparked mixed reactions. Some experts believe the weight gain is a strategic move to match Canelo's physical strength, while others question whether it could impact Crawford's trademark speed and agility, qualities that have been crucial to his success. Despite the debate, Crawford remains confident. In a video posted to his social media, he declared, "What's up, y'all? I'm looking forward to being undisputed in September. Let's get it. It's work time." As Crawford prepares for his showdown with Canelo, the Mexican superstar is first scheduled to fight William Skull in May.
And lost. So let's not do that.
Skull holds the International Boxing Federation super middleweight title, the final piece of the undisputed puzzle that Canelo lost in July after refusing to face him. If Canelo defeats Skull, he will once again unify all 4 belts in the division, setting up an undisputed clash with Crawford. This potential showdown would be one of the most anticipated fights in modern boxing history, featuring 2 of the sport's top pound-for-pound fighters in a battle for ultimate supremacy. A fight between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez could reshape the boxing landscape, as both fighters have dominated their respective divisions. Now, they stand on a collision course to determine the true pound-for-pound king.
Both of us, I believe.
Any doubt in your mind that you beat him?
Of course I beat him. It ain't no doubt in my mind that I won't beat anybody.
With Terence Crawford's weight revelation, he's gained more support from professionals who had previously overlooked him. Speaking to Fight Hype, Bader BF shared his thoughts on Crawford's chances of defeating Canelo when they meet. While many believe the weight jump could be too much for Crawford, the Russian sees it as a 50-50 fight. "I'm not really a big fan of boxing, but this fight, I will watch. I have a favorite, but we'll see. It's an interesting fight, a 50-51. BBV has previously praised Crawford as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, leading many to view him as the favorite in the matchup.
About another fight that's being reported to happen between Canelo and Terence Crawford. What do you think of that fight?
I'm not a real fan of boxing, but this...
Crawford, who has remained undefeated in all 41 of his professional bouts, became a 4-weight world champion last August after defeating WBA light middleweight champion Israel Madov. However, his performance in that fight didn't seem to impress as much as his previous ones. It's no secret that facing Canelo will be the biggest test of the 37-year-old's illustrious career, which includes undisputed championships at super lightweight and welterweight. Canelo, on the other hand, unified all 4 titles at super middleweight with his victory over Caleb Plant in 2021 and has since made 4 successful defenses of his crown, including wins over Gennady Golovkin and Jermall Charlo.
I'm going to set the trap. He's going to want to counter me. And so I'm going to counter his counter.
I'm going to set the trap. He's going to want to counter me, and when he does, I'll counter his counter, Crawford said. Canelo was stripped of his International Boxing Federation belt last summer after he chose to face Edgar Berlanga instead of mandatory challenger William Scull. However, Canelo will have the opportunity to earn the belt back when he faces Scull in May, ahead of the Crawford fight. As for BBV, he's set to rematch former Canelo foe Dimitri Bivol later this month. Jaron Ennis, who has long sought a fight with Terence Crawford, will now have to watch as Crawford faces Canelo Alvarez instead. Ennis is a talented fighter and the current IBF welterweight champion. He truly came into his own after Crawford became the undisputed champion at 147 by defeating Errol Spence in July 2023.
It's a good fight, 50-50 fight, and I guess it's a fight that everybody wants to see, so, it's a good fight.
With Bud's last fight being a world title victory at 154 pounds over Israel Madrimov, it seems the 37-year-old has officially left the welterweight division behind. Crawford has long aimed for a move up in weight to challenge undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo, and finally, this past week, that fight was confirmed for September. Speaking to YSM Sports Media, Jaron Ennis couldn't pick a winner and believes Crawford has just as much chance as Canelo to get his hand raised. It's a good fight, a 50-50 fight, and I guess it's a fight everybody wants to see.
How cool is it to make that jump from, he only had one fight at 54, so like 147, 154 to 168 pounds.
You said how difficult is it?
Yeah.
When asked about the challenge Crawford faces by moving up in weight, Ennis acknowledged, it's going to be a little difficult. He'll have to put on an extra 14 pounds, so he could be slower. You have to add more weight and gain more muscle, which makes it harder, but we'll see on fight night. He was then asked what Crawford would need to do to win, having already pointed out that it would be a tough night for Bud. Ennis suggested, be smart, take his time, box, and move. Don't just sit there and let Canelo drop bombs on him. Finally, he offered a game plan for Canelo's route to victory.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little difficult because we're going to have to put on like an extra 14 pounds, so he might be a little slower, or who knows, he could be faster, I don't know.
I feel like Canelo will be pressing everything behind the jab, trying to catch Crawford as he pulls out or tries to cut the ring off, said Ennis. He's going to have to bully the smaller guy, not let him dictate anything, and show him that it's your weight class. Crawford has revealed he is currently well above the 168-pound super middleweight limit, weighing in at 186 pounds, despite having previously claimed titles as low as lightweight at 135 pounds. Keith Thurman, a former welterweight champion, offered a more balanced perspective. While acknowledging Canelo's dominance, Thurman didn't rule out Crawford's chances.
For my boy Crawford, but it's one of those things where he really wants to win against Canelo.
Canelo can be slow at times, and Crawford's speed and footwork could cause him trouble, said Thurman. But let's not forget, Canelo is a master at cutting off the ring and landing those body shots. Jaron Ennis, a rising star in the welterweight division, dropped a bombshell when he questioned Crawford's ability to compete at super middleweight. Crawford is a phenomenal fighter, but he's not built for 168 pounds. Canelo is too big, too strong, and too experienced at that weight, Ennis stated.
You need to run uphill. You're going to need to train in high altitude. You're going to need to do every little thing that gives you that,
Elite trainers Teddy Atlas and Freddie Roach also shared their insights. Atlas, known for his analytical approach, expressed skepticism about Crawford's chances. Crawford is one of the most skilled fighters I've ever seen, but this is a bridge too far. Canelo's physicality and experience at this weight class make him the favorite. It's a tough ask for Crawford to jump up 2 divisions and win, Atlas said. Freddie Roach, however, offered a more optimistic perspective. Crawford's versatility and fighting IQ are second to none. If anyone can figure out a way to beat Canelo at 168, it's him. But he'll need a perfect game plan and flawless execution, Roach noted.
Hasn't been back yet, Spence. He may have psychologically, physically ruined him, but he has done everything asked of him. And
For Canelo, a win would further cement his status as one of the greatest boxers of his generation. For Crawford, a victory would solidify his legacy as a 3-division undisputed champion and potentially make him the best pound-for-pound fighter of all time. This fight is about more than just titles, it's about defining careers and etching their names in boxing history. As the countdown to the fight begins, both fighters are set to undergo intense training camps.
Superb way. It's not that he's just won. I look at how people win. You know, how versatile are they? How mentally together are they? What happens when they're tested? What happens when they have to make an adjustment? You know, I look at all those things. What happens?
Canelo is expected to face International Boxing Federation champion William Scull in May, aiming to reclaim the undisputed super middleweight crown before his showdown with Crawford. Meanwhile, Crawford, who last fought in August 2024, may opt for a tune-up fight to adjust to the higher weight class. The Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford bout is more than just a boxing match, it's a spectacle that will captivate fans around the world.
They can't depend on power. What else do they have to depend on? I look at everything, their technique, their defense, their offense.
While experts remain divided on the outcome, one thing is certain, this fight will be remembered as a defining moment in boxing history. As Kezan Davis prepares for the biggest fight of his career, all eyes are on the rising lightweight prospect. On February 14th, Davis will face Ukrainian Denis Binik for the World Boxing Organization lightweight title, marking his first ever title bout.
I'm definitely waiting for that time because as soon as they release whenever they fight, I'm definitely going to be in camp with them. First of all, I'm going to be in camp with them.
During his media workout, surrounded by cameras and microphones, the businessman was ready to discuss his upcoming clash. However, the conversation quickly shifted when the topic turned to another mega fight, Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford. With the 25-year-old also training under Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, Keen's thoughts on the fight stirred up quite a storm. Standing beside him during the interview was Bernie Davis, also known as Bernie the Boxer, a former pro fighter who now trains with the trio. The conversation started off lighthearted, but Keen's response left fans scratching their heads when asked about the September fight in Las Vegas.
Same time, so I just want to know like how I'm gonna schedule my things around his stuff because I definitely want to be there supporting my teammate, man, my brother at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
During his media workout, Kezan Davis was caught off guard when a reporter from Fight Hub TV asked who, in his eyes, would reign supreme in this era, Canelo or Crawford. Without hesitation, Kezan replied, "For this generation, he's going to be the greatest. You know what I'm saying? It was Floyd Mayweather, and then it's going to be Terence Crawford." Kezan believes Crawford will be the next face of boxing, following in the footsteps of Floyd Mayweather, who retired in 2017. While Canelo is widely regarded as the current face of the sport, the 25-year-old remains firm in his belief that Crawford is the true successor.
They fight out here in Vegas, like that would be so crazy. They fight out here in Vegas. They need to fight out here in Vegas. There's no other place where they should fight at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully they fight here in Vegas, man. I just can't wait till they.
The interviewer, likely aware of the stakes of such a bold opinion, pressed further, "That's what's on the line with that fight, right? Canelo and Terence, whose era is it at this point?" Bernie stepped in, offering his perspective. "I think Canelo had his time, it's just going to be our time," he said with a smile. Kezan, showing support for his friend, added, for sure. Fans, who are no strangers to heated debates in the boxing world, were quick to react. While some were confident in Crawford, others were far less enthusiastic, and that's when the criticism started pouring in.
For sure.
How difficult of a fight is that for Bud, and what does Bud have to do to win that fight?
He just gotta be smart. He gotta be smart, and I feel like he just gotta beat Canelo to the punches. You know what I'm saying?
One user sarcastically posted, "Canelo is going to pass the torch to a 37-year-old." While age doesn't automatically diminish a fighter's ability, it's worth noting that Canelo Alvarez is still at the top of his game. After all, boasting a record of 62-2 as of February 2nd is no easy feat. Some fans responded with more biting commentary, calling Kezan's take stupidity level 1000. This reaction likely stemmed from Canelo Alvarez's unmatched resume in boxing. The Mexican champion has accomplished what many thought impossible, including becoming the first undisputed super middleweight champion and defeating legends across multiple weight classes. One of the harshest criticisms came from a fan who pointed out that Terence Crawford has yet to demonstrate the same knockout power as Canelo.
His skill, his wisdom, you know what I'm saying? And just be smart in there, man. God willing, of course, he's gonna come out and get the victory, man. And both guys gonna go home, you know.
Canelo ain't passing the torch to a fighter who couldn't hurt someone with 10 fights or even drop him. Canelo dropped Munguia and Berlanga, one user pointed out, referencing Canelo's victories over Jamie Munguia for the IBF, WBC, and WBO super middleweight titles, and Edgar Berlanga for the WBC and WBO super middleweight titles. However, it's important to note that Terence Crawford also boasts a record of 41-0-1 with continuous knockout victories over the past few years. Pass the torch, another user questioned. Bro, you've got to work on your defense, you're getting hit too much in the head. The jab at Kezan's style struck a chord as fans pointed out that Davis had yet to prove himself at the same level as Canelo Alvarez.
Major injuries and stuff like that at the end of the day, but I know Bud is gonna go in there and get the victory for sure.
I'm sure you're not looking past Dennis Berinchik, obviously a very capable fighter, but...
That said, the 25-year-old is still early in his professional career and has plenty of time to refine his defensive skills. With a coach like Bomac by his side, Kezan's defense could improve significantly. The criticism didn't stop there. Some took it a step further, joking about Kezan's appearance, with one user writing, "Kezan looks like he could have $1 million and still stink." Ouch. However, it's worth noting that these kinds of criticisms often stem from broader frustrations fans may have with a fighter's public persona. Finally, fans brought up Terence Crawford's fight with Israel Madrimov, asking, what makes him think he's going to beat Canelo when he was struggling against Madrimov?
Because I hate getting on long-ass flights. That's just me personally. I hope it's out here in Vegas. Bring that shit to Allegiant Stadium, man. Yeah.
Is that the biggest?
The comparison to his struggles with former contender Israel Madrimov seemed like a heavy blow to Bud's credibility. The 4-division champion won the fight by unanimous decision, but it was undeniably a hard-fought bout. Canelo, the unified super middleweight world champion, had previously dismissed the call-out from fellow 4-division titleist Crawford, who last fought at super welterweight. Enter Saudi Arabia's Turki Alik, who appears to have made good progress in getting the bout finalized. Speaking in late 2023 to Fight Hub TV, veteran promoter Bob Arum gave his former charge Crawford no chance due to the massive weight gap.
Hell yeah! Yes! What's bigger than that? Like, for real. Like, hell yeah, son. That's the biggest fight in boxing, for sure. For sure.
Tell me, when you hear everyone talk about the fight,
I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford was fighting Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him, but Canelo is a different proposition. It's an interesting fight, but I think there's only one winner. Canelo is used to fighting at a particular level, and I don't think Terence can hurt Canelo, but Canelo can hurt Terence. However, more recently, Arum told Fight Hype that he can't count Crawford out, even with the challenge of packing on 14 pounds for the fight.
What's the biggest thing that you disagree with people on?
How much they count Terence out?
What's the thing that you hear the most? If Canelo hits him.
I wouldn't count Crawford out in any fight because he has a unique talent. He's a great boxer-puncher and completely ambidextrous. That gives him an edge, as it drives his opponents crazy. They train to fight a right-handed fighter, but then they end up facing a southpaw. That's what happened to Errol Spence. Spence trained for a right-hander, and all he saw was a southpaw. I think Crawford is aiming for a matchup like Manny Pacquiao versus De La Hoya. Since his fight against Crawford last year, the Truth hasn't fought in over a year, although there are rumors of a fight against Sebastian Fundora being negotiated for later this year.
I mean, why not? If Crawford want to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, you know, so, you know what I'm saying, I'm with it.
Regardless, Spence did have the option to activate his rematch clause with Crawford but decided not to. Whether it's because he needs more time to prepare or has lost hope, Spence Jr. certainly understands how formidable Terence Crawford is. When they meet in September, Shakur Stevenson believes Crawford will defeat Canelo Alvarez and make it look easy. Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion, has been saying for years that Crawford will beat Canelo.
Mentally as strong as Terence Crawford, so I can't wait to watch it.
Your gym's an exciting gym, you all bounce off each other.
Crawford, the WBA champion in the 154 pounds light middleweight division, has promised to put on 14 pounds to compete in the highly anticipated bout, which could be the highest paying day of his career. When asked if he believes Crawford will win, Stevenson was confident in his response. "I've been saying this for years now. I'm probably the first one who said it, even before Terence did. I always thought Crawford's style against Canelo's would be a winning combination. I think he beats Canelo," said Shakur Stevenson to TalkSport Boxing. Stevenson seems to suggest that Crawford will stand toe-to-toe and trade blows with Canelo in September, but that scenario seems unlikely, given Crawford's usual tactics when facing powerful punchers.
He's a special fighter, pound for pound. I think many will say #1 in the world, alongside the likes of people like yourself and that great list that we've got at the minute. Is he the man?
Crawford typically relies on movement, using his jab and quick footwork to land shots before swiftly repositioning. He doesn't stay stationary or engage in relentless attacks. His aggressive performance against Errol Spence was more of an exception, largely because Spence wasn't at his best following his car accident. It'll be over a year, 13 months, before Crawford steps into the ring at a higher weight. You have to be very careful when fighting above 160 pounds, as it's a new weight class, said Chris Mannix on his YouTube channel about Crawford potentially taking a tune-up fight. It seems unlikely that Crawford will take the risk of a tune-up fight against a super middleweight before facing Canelo Alvarez in September.
Yes, honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody.
If Crawford competes in this weight class, it's likely to be at a catch weight, possibly around 163 or 164 pounds, against a middleweight moving up. That's all for now. For the latest updates on news, moments, events, and everything happening in the world of boxing, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on content like this. Until next time, peace out.